All right, so I want to say a little bit about Lady Gaga's performance. I'm sure there's a lot more videos out there covering this. I just had a few specific things that I thought were interesting. And it goes hand in hand with what I experienced in watching the Super Bowl. I've talked about this in some other recent videos. I haven't watched the Super Bowl in maybe like 7, 8, 9 years. And the way that I cope with the negative energy when I'm watching something that's, I don't know, a psychological operation, or it's very dense with all of this type of commercialism and mind control programming that is in so many of these ads and all these types of things. The way I cope with it is I take breaks. I might not watch something all the way through, or I'll go outside for a walk. And you think about a football game being really long. So there are many people that will watch 2 long football games every Sunday, or maybe even 3. So we're talking about a 3-hour event. And with the Super Bowl, there is a long introductory show, and then there's the post game show, and then they drag everything out. There's just a lot more commercials, and it's just a longer event. So I think this thing was, I don't know, 5.5 hours or 4.5 hours long, not including the like 2-hour pregame show. And so you're talking about a 6-hour event in which the commercials are of interest to people, and the halftime show is of interest to people. So you can't get up and take breaks and do things that you might normally do during a football game. So what you have is a captive audience sitting there for like 6 hours of just this mind controlled, dense commercialism and all of these Illuminati symbols. And just, it's icky. It just wipes you out. I felt horrible after watching it. And I knew I was going to make some videos about it, but it was definitely not worth watching in terms of being an average person watching this thing. It would make you feel bad. That much TV and the density and the intensity of everything is, there's so much writing on these commercials and this big spectacular event. And this is something that people look forward to, Super Bowl parties. It's like a holiday, and it always makes you feel bad. I think if you were a Patriot fan, maybe you'd feel good just from the standpoint of them winning, but just the energy that the TV provides, all these things, it just wipes you out. So it's like going into hell. It's like the worst of America. Even if you just looked at it aside from the mind control and the Illuminati stuff, if you look at just at the hedonism and the commercialism and the stuff that they display in these ads, it's pretty brutal. And so with that in mind, there was that moment in the beginning of Lady Gaga's performance where she's on top of the stadium singing God Bless America. And she's being, I don't know, what you would think is sort of normal, or being like almost like a nice girl singing this song that many in America would consider a wholesome song. Again, it's not like about war like the national anthem. It's a more mild song and a positive song, and she's being wholesome. And then she descends into hell. So she jumps off this after saying God Bless America. So it's like there's this fall of America, what's good about America, what's wholesome about America, and she descends into hell. There's what appears to be, a few viewers pointed this out to me, on upside down pentagram, an inverted pentagram next to her as she falls onto this stage, and she starts singing all of her demonic music, and they're doing this, the weird sort of, like they're in a party, a hellish party. I've talked about this before. When the dancing and movements look like it's mentally ill people. It's some sort of thing at a Rocky Horror Picture Show or something. And when you look at all the wealthy empires over the course of history, they all fell into immorality and lethargy and just poor character qualities and all these things, the population. And once that happened, there was a degradation and a fall of the empire. And this is what her performance was for me, a metaphor for the fall of the American empire. And you can see that coming around the corner anyway. We've been seeing this for a number of years. But that's what it looked like in terms of the intention of her performance and all these things. All right, well, there's just a few thoughts. Like I said, it's just something where I look at it and you go, America's kind of played out. How many Super Bowls do you need? This is the 51st Super Bowl. And at some point, it just gets really redundant. And it's something where, who cares? It becomes like, who cares? All the Illuminati stuff, all the subliminal stuff, all the Super Bowls. Someone's going to win. Every year someone's going to win. You need 1,000 of these. How long does this keep people's interest? It's just, it's played out. We've seen 51 of these things. How many World Series have there been? Again, after a while, people say, every year it's the same sort of thing. All right, these are just a few thoughts. Everybody have a blessed day.